What is up, YouTube? Varyk here. I wanted to take a little bit of time today to go over my feedback that I think should be considered in Season 8 Project Diablo 2. Some of this feedback is stuff I've been saying for a really long time that I would love to see changed, but some other feedback is just kind of stuff I've thought about through all my testing on Plugy that I think would be a great addition to the game. And just bear in mind, right, this is what I think, right? This is not what devs think, this is not what you think. You may agree with some of this stuff, you may disagree with a lot of it. I always, when I give this feedback, I'm trying to stay true to the core of the game. I'm trying to keep the game, challenging, not too easy, not too quality of life. But I think just I want to increase the flow of the game a little bit better, and I think there's a couple ways to do that, and I want to try to make the game more exciting. So without further ado, we can go over some of my ideas here. I do have a spreadsheet, so we'll kind of go through that together. We'll start off with items. Starting off with quivers and bolts, I do think that we should have quivers and bolts deadly strike slam. I think there's a lot of physical boazons that would probably really appreciate getting that 75 DS cap. So I think that's a nice way to do it. I know I think they're talking about completely redoing slams corruptions. So maybe that's something they're considering, maybe not, I don't know. But anyway, I think that would be a nice feature to have. Next, in the same light of quivers and bolts, I think it'd be awesome to have a unique quiver and bolt. That maybe something they're working on, I don't know. But I think instituting the rare and magic quivers and bolts was awesome, and I would like to see a unique. I think that'd be really cool. So we'll see about that. Purgatory and Wraith Flight. So there's already items in the game that only drop ethereal, right? There's an axe, right? Ethereal edge. I mean, I know it's in the name, it's called ethereal edge, it's obviously going to drop ethereal, so I get that. I appreciate that, it's nice. I think that's a nice thing, but an item like Ghost Glaive, right? Wraith Flight Ghost Glaive, how does that not drop ethereal? It just seems so silly for it not to be ethereal. It says, how many times in the name does it say, like, I'm spooky and see-through? I think it should be an ethereal item. I think this is an item that just isn't used anymore, that no one really cares about. Yes, I mean, obviously, if an F version of it drops and you get a high ED slam, then you're going to want to use it. But for the most part, I think it's pretty, unexciting, and I think that it would be great if this were always to drop ethereal. I think it would make people use this a little bit more. And the nice thing is that it comes, it's a throwing weapon, so you don't have to ever worry about quantity. It'll always stack or restack. So that's that. The other one I had on my list was Purgatory. So this may be a little bit more of a debate here, but I think this is an awesome item and it has awesome build potentials, but it's just totally wasted when it drops non-ethereal. And it's such a rare drop that it is just so disappointing when you see it drop and it's non-ethereal. So I think it would be really cool to have that drop, not to only drop all ethereal, because it's such a cool build idea to have all eth items and if that's not dropping eth, then it's like, who the hell cares, and why do I even want to try for this, right? So I think it would bring the price down a lot, and that would be really nice, because right now it's just insane prices when it actually does drop eth. So I think that should be ethereal as well. Blue rings, so magic rings I think should drop 20% FCR. I think the cool thing about blue amulets is that they can roll with +3 skills, right? They can roll +3 skills and 10 FCR. But I think that's the reason people pick up blue amulets, is because they can drop +3 skills. So your summoners, your Javazons, people that really benefit from skills are going to pick up blue amulets because they want to get that +3 that they can slam +1 on it. But I think it'd be a cool reason to pick up blue rings if you can get 20 FCR and maybe slam 10 FCR on it. Then you got a 30 FCR ring. Maybe it rolls some like all res. Maybe it rolls another item another mod that's really cool. So I think that would just give people a reason to pick up blue rings, because right now I don't really think there's a reason. So anyway, I thought that was cool. Next up, this is not my idea, but I saw someone recommend this idea and I just love it. Blue jewels always rolling 2 mods. I think as it stands right now, I almost like leave jewels on the ground because I just don't care anymore, and I just have like stacks and stacks and stacks of jewel fragments that I just don't care about. I put them in my stash and forget them. I really think it would be cool if blue jewels rolled 2 mods. I still think you're gonna have so many blue jewels that like you just disenchant or you fragment because they're shit. But I think it just increases the chances of them having good rolls, and using them, and having them be impactful. And I think that the nerf to Ohm Rune was maybe an attempt to get people to use jewels more. I think this would really be a thing to get people to use jewels more, so I would love to see that happen. Another 1+1 skill belt for non-casters. I think that there's so many builds that are not casters that would love to have another +1 belt that just ended up stuck using Arachnid's Mesh, because like that's the only +1 and they want skills. So it would be nice to have another +1 that wasn't so caster focused. So that's an idea. Cube puzzle pieces into puzzle boxes. So I think that a lot of people have talked about this, and this is probably going to come. I would be very surprised if they didn't do this in season 8. Maybe not, I don't know, but I would love to see it. Maybe like 5 puzzle pieces turned into a puzzle box or something like that. I know I get them pretty frequently, so it would be cool to have puzzle pieces turned into a puzzle box. So however many they decide or they deem required to make a puzzle box, but it makes sense thematically. And even though like little piece is a fourth of a cube, so maybe 4 pieces creates a cube. You see the little puzzle piece, it's like a little triangle, and then the actual cube is a cube. So that would be cool. Add DClone item drops. I think I should probably talk about this down in DClone. Yeah, we'll talk about that when I get down there. So yeah. Let's see. Cube puzzle pieces. We already talked about that. Next up, give Necro heads a rune word like Plague, or just give them Plague, so you can benefit from GG rolled bases. I think there's a lot of cool potential in Necromancer heads, the like little offhands, the bases, and I think they can roll some pretty sweet like +3 whatever, Golem, Fire Golem +3 Fire Golem Mastery or something like that. And it's like, what do you do with it? You can't put a plus to skills rune word in it. I think there's only like 1 or 2 rune words you could put it in. They're both kind of crap. It's like, who cares? So I think it'd be really cool if they could roll Plague, or if something else they could roll to give them +2 skills. So then you have like a +5 Fire Golem Necro head that you can get, instead of just like constantly rolling rares, instead of constantly picking up rares and magics trying to get that +5 or that +6. So I think this would be a cool way to do it. I think there's so many items that we can kind of target +5 skills, like the Delirium Helmet you can do like once you get a good base. So it would just be cool to have a good base that, to actually like find a good base for a Necro head and make a rune word out of it. Yeah, remove 1 socket or even 2 socket slams for 2-handed weapons. It is so discouraging and so just like, God, like, damn it. I don't care. I'm throwing this on the ground. When you get a 1 socket 2-handed weapon, like you get that GG 2-handed weapon with like perfect ED and you roll 1 socket, it just feels so bad. I think they should do away with 1 socket. Again, maybe even 2 socket. Yeah, I think it should be minimum 3 sockets. Maybe that's a little too quality of life there, but that would be very nice. Let Homunculus roll +2 to +3. I think right now Homunculus is just like a pointless item. I know it's still got good rolls. It still has all resist. It's a good item, but like, why use Homunculus when you have Bone Flame? There's no point, right? I rolled a 3 socketed Homunculus this season, and I was just like, all right, well, this is crap. Nobody's gonna want this. I think I sold it for like a Ist rune or something. So that'd be cool if they could roll 2 to 3 skills. Here's one that I think should really be addressed, and I have talked about this multiple seasons now, I think for like 4 or 5 seasons. As it stands right now, 2-handed swords do not gain ED benefits from dexterity. They only gain it from strength. 1-hand swords get ED benefits from both strength and dex. I think it's like 0.75 per point or something like that for each strength and dex. I forget what the actual math is, but 1-hand swords get benefits from dex. Good to go. I'm happy with that. But yeah, 2-hand swords as it stands, you only get ED benefits from dex, but some 2-hand swords require up to 110 dexterity, more than certain polearms, right? So if you look at here, you have Colossus Blade that needs 110 dexterity, and then look at something like, your polearms, your greater poleaxe needs 99. So that's over 10 dexterity needed to use a two-handed sword, and you don't even get any ED benefits from it. Whereas, you know, if you're going to use a polearm as a barbarian, you're just going to dump into dexterity because it gains the same amount of ED benefits than you do than dumping into strength. So you might as well just dump into dexterity. But, you know, to use a sword, you're already wasting 110 dexterity. Like, sure, you get attack rating from it, but you're wasting so many points into the dexterity that it's not worth it, right? It feels so bad. And I feel like one of the big reasons why people don't use swords right now is because you're using so much dexterity and you're not gaining ED benefits from it. I know that's not the only reason most people don't use swords, but still, it would be very nice to gain ED benefits from dexterity, and I wish they would add that. All right, moving into classes. We'll go through this pretty quickly. I don't have a whole lot of additions. I haven't really tested that many classes, so we'll go through it. Sorceress, pretty simple one. I think it'd be cool if telekinesis did like a small AoE splash. You could actually build a telekinesis build that could actually map. You know, I think maybe sorceresses use it for like killing bosses. I don't even know if they do. Probably just use Nova or something. But I think it'd be cool to have like a little bit of a splash so you could actually like telekinesis around and kill packs. Very small though. I'm not talking like big. I'm talking like hits like the nearest like 2 or 3 mobs. But I thought that'd be cool. Barbarian, so obviously I do most of my testing with Barbarian. I have a couple things to talk about. Frenzy, right? I've talked about Frenzy all the time. You know, you may have heard me talk about it before, especially when I was doing my builds. But Frenzy should have its buff duration refreshed with any attack. I think it's so clunky to have to like actually hard cast Frenzy every like 15 seconds. It's such a short timer. Sure, you can increase the buff duration, but you still have to cast the ability. And like if you're a Whirlwind Barbarian who has no increased attack speed, but you want the benefits of Frenzy, because it's such a cool buff, like it has so much to it, that it just feels bad to have to like stop and slash. And if you miss, then you have to do it again. So I just think it's silly, and I think it would be cool if any attack refresh the duration, because I think thematically Frenzy is what? It's just it puts you into a battle frenzy, and you're supposed to just keep your momentum and keep fighting. And as long as you keep fighting, you should continue having that frenzied rage, right? As a barbarian. So the point is to continue attacking. So when you stop attacking, you lose your frenzy. You have to restack it. I think stacking it's fine as long as you don't have to do it every time. Like if you let it drop, then that's the punishment. You have to restack it. I know you don't have to restack it every single time when you refresh it, but still, it just takes you out of what you're doing when you have to like hit the frenzy button, you know, when you're in the middle of a pack, when you're whirlwinding through a pack and you have to like frenzy. It just doesn't make sense. And if you make the decision to let it drop off so you can finish whirlwinding through the pack because it's probably a dangerous pack, but now all of a sudden you have to restack your frenzy and it takes like 10 stacks. It just doesn't feel good, and I think a lot of people don't run it because it doesn't feel good, and it's not felt good for a really long time. So it would be nice if they could do something that makes it feel a little bit better, and that's my idea for it. This is something to help out throw. Increased speed should gain increased attack speed from soft points. Throw needs something. I'm not going to get into all the details about what throw needs. It needs something. I think this would be something, at least a good starting point to help it out a little bit. I think this would help it reach those breakpoints without having to sacrifice too much or do too many like weird things to get your increased attack speed up. So that'd be nice. Grimoire Totem. So I've only just started using Grimoire Totem because I was doing that like Green Barbarian build and the support, and I don't even know if it's a good build or not, but I think Grimoire Totem feels weird to use because when you're using it in maps and you want to be a support barbarian, you're just like constantly casting it, and you just, because you get out of range like immediately, especially in group maps when you're just running around so fast, it just gets out of your range immediately. I think it would be cool. I have 3 different possibilities for it in this order. I think it would be cool if you had like a 5-second buff on Grimoire Totem that just kept refreshing every time you were within range of it. Like every ticket would just refresh to 5 seconds, whatever, so that when you actually left the range of the Grimoire Totem, you would have that start counting down from 5 timer, so that you actually have a little bit of a grace window to recast your Grimoire Totem, so you're not feeling like you're like losing out on ED. And especially if you're soloing and you rely on Grimoire Totem, as soon as you leave range of that pack, now you're screwed because you have to kill a mob. So it'd be nice to be able to like have that little bit of grace window. Other option, no corpse needed. Obviously, that'd be much easier, so you don't have to worry about corpse. You can precast it, increase its range. I mean, sure, that'll help, but I don't that wouldn't be my fix. Lastly, actually, I didn't add this, but I would add this. Executioners. So this was an idea floated around in Barbarian chat. Should have chance on kill Grimward totem. That would be really cool. I think that would be an awesome way to kind of mix in Grimward into the mix and get people to maybe use it more and or just a cooler way to, like, you know, I don't know. Might be a silly idea, but I just thought this would be cool to, like, see Grimward a little bit more. Execution of Justice sort of fell out of favor when they nerfed it so much. And I think it's a cool weapon because it does kind of operate on that one chance on kill. So actually when you kill them. So I think that'd be a cool idea. I don't know how possible it'd be, like how quickly it becomes a corpse and you can cast Grimward Totem, but if it's possible, it'd be cool. All right, I think that's it for Barbarian. We'll get through these other two real quick. Paladin, I think it would be really cool to see a faster cast rate aura. I think there's so many build potentials through having an FCR aura, and I think so many classes really try to get that FCR that, you know, whether like a self-wielding infinity sorceress, you know, needs a little bit extra FCR. Like, what do they make their mercenary out of? Maybe they make a rune word that gives to them that FCR aura that, you know, helps them get that like extra 10% or 7% or whatever. You know, maybe Holy Bolt Paladins run FCR aura so they can help achieve breakpoints. So I just thought that would be a cool addition, something to add. I think that's a pretty big ask, but I just thought it'd be cool to see. And then Necromancers, golems in general, I think they just suck. I tested a bunch of them. Unless you're doing fire, and even fire could use some improvements, although I think knife wrench and other necro chat seems to think fire's okay where it is, so I don't want to get into the mix of that, but I think golems in general could use a look. I think as it stands right now, there's just way too many synergies, and I think they're just way too underwhelming, so I'd like to see that better. Getting into maps, I do think maps are good. I think they're awesome. For the most part, they're doing really well. I do think it feels really cool to have an event in a map, and I think that should be more common. Where'd it go? There it is. I think events should be more common in maps, and I think it'd be cool if they had like tiers of map events, like low tier map events, maybe middle tier, maybe high tier, or maybe just low and high. So like, you know, some of the what's the like little Rakinishu dude, the little goblin who runs around, maybe that could be like a low tier because he's annoying. And maybe like, because I know there's the catalyst thing that we have that like guarantees an event. Maybe the catalyst could instead, you know, guarantee a high tier event, so you're getting like keys, or you're getting like Worldstone shards or something like that. So that'd be cool. Yeah, so you're pretty much just increasing the event, the chance of events, because they're fun and they're exciting. Rework horizons. I do think this could use a new rework, something you can actually like take home with you, instead of just opening up another map, because I think that this game is tailored around us adults who play the game, who don't have a whole lot of time to play the game, who can jump in for like 30 minutes at a time. And say you like get this awesome, you know, 300% density map that you only have like, you know, 15, 20 minutes to run. And all of a sudden a Horizons event goes and it's like a blood moon. It's like a 300 density blood moon. You're like, well, geez, like I can't do that. I want to do that, but I don't have time. So it'd be cool if maybe a map dropped. Maybe it's just a map dropped and it was the copy of the map. You know, a random map drops with the same copy as the one you had. Instead of just opening up the portal, just drop the map and then you can do the map later. I think that would be a nice fix. Unique maps are fun, but I do find myself, I think they're too big. I think I would scale them down. Same kind of reason for that, like 30-minute gamer friendly. I skip so much because it's just tedious, and I think the rewards are not really rewarding enough, and you just get tired of identifying charms, and the corrupts, they don't even corrupt all the time, so it's like, why? I don't know, you just kind of don't really feel like picking anything up. Anyway, I just think it's a little underwhelming, the incentive for the like amount that the maps take, and the risk that the maps takes, because they can be tough. And I mean, those end map bosses can be tough, and if you're a character like a necromancer who has like a, you know, a pride golem or something like that, you don't want to do that because he might kill your golem or you might die. And So anyway, I know they're supposed to be hard. I know they're supposed to be, high risk, high reward, but I feel like the reward isn't high enough to, for the risk or the time investment. So I would like to see that change somehow. I hate Mendeln, the Shadow of Mendeln. I just hate it. I can't stand it. It's boring. It's just not fun. I think it would be cool to. I think for the most part it can stay the same. I know it's really good EXP. I know there's some good drops. I know splinters are there. I think the one change I would make is instead of just consistent waves every time, like a set number of waves, it would be cool if it was more of like a gauntlet style. So like maybe the waves got harder and harder and harder, and however many waves you were able to defeat in the timer, like maybe instead of wave numbers, it's the timer. So however many waves you're able to defeat in the timer, kind of was how much drops you get. Just the same way the the what's it called, the mini Ubers, the Ariad Summit event, how you can have like 1, 2, or 3. Like if you fight just one of them, you only get like a certain amount of rares. If you fight 2 of them or 3 of them, you get like the big cash prize. So I think you could do something like that. Like the more waves you defeat, like say you defeat like 3, 6, or 9 or 10 or something like that, then you get like the big cash prize. So that would be pretty cool. That'd be a way to like actually make you engage with it. Cause when I'm on my summoner, I literally AFK. I alt tab and I just wait until it's over, and I pull my screen back up and there it is. I'm done. So it's boring as it is. I would like to see it changed. Last up, I don't know how long this video has been. I apologize, but I just want to go through it all. DClone. I think Zod and Cam prices are just ridiculous. I'm not a fan of this like burning high runes. It just jacks up the high rune market value. I don't think I'm not, as someone who doesn't do DClone, I don't like it, and I think I don't want to see my rune prices go up so high for something I don't do. So it's just weird to me. I don't like it, and I'd like to see it different. Perhaps it was, each difficulty level you did dropped something. DClone dropped an item that allowed you to then upgrade your next one so you can do the harder one. So you kind of have like a progression wise from him. So I think that would be a nicer way to do it. And I think that 9 difficulty levels is a little ridiculous. I think maybe scaling that down a little bit. So again, maybe something that was like a little more like 3 or 5 difficulty levels. And within each level, each time you killed DClone, you dropped an item that then allowed you to upgrade it to the next level until you got to the last level. And that's like the final upgrade. So maybe that's the way to do it. Lastly, this is again, probably a controversial one. We don't see DClone items. I just feel like you don't see them until I feel like the point where you actually finally start seeing DClone items, no one really cares anymore. And people have already played for the couple weeks, a month and a half, and now DClone items are starting to make their way in the market, and you're just kind of like, I don't really care. I've already sort of done what I wanted to do, and now I'm just sort of chilling. I know that's my preference, my personal opinion. I don't mean to speak for anyone else, but I do feel like right now it takes a little too long for DClone items to mix into the market. So I would love to see them drop somewhere else, maybe drop more commonly. It would be cool to kind of unlock them for people to start getting them. I think, I know dungeons were a way to incentivize people to do dungeons, to have like DClone item drops there, but I don't think people do dungeons. It'd be nice if they could drop from maps or something like that. I don't know, just a very low drop chance. I mean, like not vile drop chance, but something very, very low. It would be cool to see. Anyway, that's it, guys. That was the long-winded explanation of all my feedback. It's all there on the page for you, and I did post it in the feedback channel, but I wanted to make sure I went through like my reasoning behind all this feedback. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm always open to discussion, and if you have any other ideas or changes to my feedback, throw it up there and I'll consider it, and maybe I'll adjust it in my feedback when I post it again. As always, please subscribe if you enjoy my videos. I'm always happy to do more of these videos. But anyway, that's it, guys. Hope you have a good rest of your day. See ya.